Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I am so thrilled to be hosting this panel with these two powerhouses, two of the most iconic beauty brands, Fenty and ColourPop. Thank you, Olivia, for the amazing intro. I'm Megan. I am the beauty marketing expert at GRIN. She gave me enough intro. We don't need to talk about me. We can move on. But today's conversation is all about standing out in a saturated market. I know there's a lot of beauty folks in the audience. We know how saturated this market can be, and consumers are constantly overwhelmed with choice. So the question that we're here to answer is, how do iconic brands like Fenty and ColourPop consistently stay relevant, show up authentically, and still hit their goals? So today we're going to unpack three big themes: how to stay culturally relevant and ahead of trends, how to scale an always-on influencer engine, and how creators are evolving from just brand builders to performance drivers. So then at the end, we're going to wrap up with a really quick lightning round, so that'll be fun, and then we'll move into some Q&A. So starting with Yasmine, I would love it if you both could tell us a bit about your role, your team, and your brand's approach to influencer marketing.
Amazing. Thank you. Excited to be here. I'm Yasmine. I'm the global director of influencer marketing across what we call the Fentyverse. So it's Fenty Beauty, Fenty Fragrance, Fenty Skin, and also our newly launched Fenty Hair. So across all those brands, really I set the global strategy for how we activate across the globe to all the regions that we're in. And then I oversee our North America activation. So shout out to Hollis back there from our team. We do all the things here in North America. And I've been in the industry since before it had a name. It was just PR, and people were called bloggers, and they were last on the list. So excited to be here, excited to chat with you all.
Awesome. Well, I can speak. I'm Colette. I lead the PR and influencer team at ColourPop. I've been there for about 3 years, so I've seen it go through multiple phases and change from launching every single week to launching a couple times a month. So it's been really fun, but I'm lucky to have a bigger team relative to some of the smaller teams here. They're mostly all sitting right there, so they're the executors here, but really fun and really exciting to be at the brand at this time. We're doing a lot of fun things.
Amazing. Thank you both. So let's get started. So we know that the beauty market is a little noisy, right? And yet both of your brands consistently cut through all of that noise. So let's talk about how you build strategies that feel fresh and aligned with your audience and ahead of trends. So this question is for Yasmine. Your campaigns are known for shaping cultural moments. How do you ensure that your creator strategy feels fresh and aligned with what your audience cares about?
I would say one thing about us is we always have our finger on the pulse. We always have a constant conversation about what's happening, not just within the beauty space, but also thinking about what's happening in the world, what's happening in entertainment, and just being a student of that. And so I would say we're always on trend spotting, and we really bring that into how we decide to activate. We're always looking for what can we be the first at, and if not the first, then what can we put our own spin on to make it unique to our brand. And we have such a strong ethos that people know that when we show up, it's going to be cool, it's going to be relevant, and they're going to be excited to be there. So we really keep that first, always on trend spotting in mind.
Yes, cool is an understatement. This question is for Colette. Your brand moves quickly and stays super trend responsive, like this. How do you decide what trends or creator opportunities to act on now and what you need to skip?
I feel like we're at like a really fun time where there are trends happening every single day. So I think the beauty of that is you can do A/B testing with all of the trends and see what lands with your community, what doesn't land with your community. I think ultimately we try to keep everything really organic and really sit with our community because we have a very loud, very vocal community that has very strong opinions. So we try to make sure that everything ultimately feels right for our audience. And if something is like a fun trend that we can try to hop on because we are a small team, we don't have to go through a lot of red tape, and we can just try to make that happen. We're also really cross-functional, so we're always brainstorming in Slack and brainstorming with our social team to see how we can work together on things like that. And maybe if it's something as simple as like a new eyeshadow trend, it's a low lift thing, like including it in a newsletter. And maybe if it's something that's larger, like Kellyanne's eyeshadow summer, that's something you can integrate into your 360 plan. So really just paying attention to what's happening and all the different ways you can integrate it in ways that are low lift or higher lift and that really resonate with your community.
Amazing. Thank you. And then I'm going to open this question to both of you. Have there been any creator-led moments? Let's keep it to this year. Otherwise, we could be going way back. That unexpectedly turned into huge wins for the brand.
I can speak to one that I was literally thinking of earlier. We had a creator post on TikTok, and she posted about a product that we truthfully were barely marketing. We have so many products. So, we have our hero SKUs, we have our core SKUs, and we're always focusing on those, and some just are on the back burner. But this creator went out of her way, found this product, bought this product at Target, said that it was a dupe of another product, and it literally turned into one of our top selling products overnight. And I think that's just such a testament to the creator space, and now that product is being weaved into all of our marketing messaging because it organically went viral. So that wasn't even something that we did on our end, that was totally the creator, but I think it's always important to keep your eye on those things, eye on those creators, and eye on those products, because what's performing organically can easily be weaved into your marketing.
100%.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a copycat, but I think TikTok
Yeah.
has truly democratized the creator space. And yeah, when you think about creator-led wins, it's probably going to be on TikTok 99% of the time. So we've had quite a few moments. Even sometimes, here's a twist I can take on it. For our holiday campaign, we were really trying to showcase our Diamond Bomb, which is one of our hero SKUs, different ways to share it. And one of our besties, Glamzilla, decided to put it in her hair. And so literally there were so many other creators that were taking, paid and unpaid, that were taking the Diamond Bomb, putting it in their hair, people going out to get the Diamond Bomb, to use it in this new and cool way. And so I think that is also a testament to, you can pay someone to talk about your campaign, but you should always allow the creator a little leeway where you can to do it in their own way, and it generally is always going to perform over exceedingly in abundance. So that was one really big win.
The true creative class is on TikTok for sure.
Absolutely.
They're 10 steps ahead of us most of the time. So cultural relevance is one thing, but keeping the momentum going all year takes a lot of strategy. So let's explore how your teams scale. So this question is for Colette. You're launching new products constantly. How is your influencer strategy specifically set up to keep the pace while still feeling authentic to the brand?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier. We have literally 1,000+ products, so we cannot put time and energy behind everything, but we do have a list of core hero SKUs that we really try to focus on all the time. There are always on SKUs, and we keep those in mind throughout the year. We also started a series this year where it's called Color of the Month, and so every month there's a new color trend that we're focusing on where we can weave in other products. So I think it's a really good strategy of focusing on your core hero SKUs, weaving in those other products, and then allowing the other products to come through the creators. If someone makes something go viral that, the product I was talking about earlier, that wasn't one of those SKUs, allowing the space for that to come in. So really just keeping your strategies aligned on where are you focused on sales, but leave room for other things as well.
Perfect. And for Yasmine, Fenty has built a very elevated but very cohesive identity. How do you balance that with ongoing creator activity and keeping your content flowing? Because you guys are always on.
Yeah, well, we have multiple content streams, and then I would say one of the biggest things I always like to say, and we've kind of incorporated since I've come, is make new friends but keep the old. So it's we have our core Fenty fam who you probably associate our products with, or that you've seen talking about us for a long time, but we're always looking for new friends to make and going into new markets to meet the creators in those spaces and bringing them into the fold. Even with a TikTok shop, it's there are a lot of new creators in that space, some of which are really great for what they do with affiliate marketing, but others that you can really elevate into other parts of your strategy. And so it's where else can we win with these creators? So I think it's really just always having an eye out for talent and keeping it fresh and always looking for new faces that can continue to tell your brand story in an authentic way.
100%.
I actually can add on that. I totally agree with that. I think that's something we try to do is really make sure that we're always paying attention to the creators that are consistently talking about them, about us, the creators that are consistently obsessed with, like our OG products, our Super Shock Shadows. And then when we're launching a new product like a liquid blush, that's an opportunity to bring in new creators that organically love liquid blush, but maybe they haven't tried ours before. So it's kind of the ability to keep that program stable with your OGs, but to your point, bring in new people who might love you for something they haven't tried yet and no one's tried yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to sometimes meet your creators where they're at. Sometimes the expectation is to make them so like pigeonholed by what the brand wants.
Yeah, but it's like, if you just want to talk about gloss, baby, I got all the gloss.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a gloss, try it.
Yeah, exactly. But to let that creativity shine through and like really sort of be able to have an eye for who could fit different parts of your marketing engine is really important. So we have obviously we have a lot of marketers in the building, so this is going to be like the tea right here, is what's one this is open to both, what is one workflow or internal system that's helped your team manage volume without sacrificing brand integrity?
I mean, it's cheesy, but I feel like GRIN has done a really good job.
Did you get that?
Otherwise, our team would literally be placing Shopify orders manually all the time, and we needed to make that process more efficient. I also think it helps us eliminate waste because, at least for like nanos and micros who don't have managers, they're opting in. We're not just blindly sending them something and hoping that they want it. So it allows us to use our mailers more efficiently. It allows our team to be more efficient. So I was not paid to say that, but you can pay me if you want. But I truly think that's helped our team improve efficiencies.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we're both on the GRIN panel. So. But yeah, I would say bringing in tools like GRIN is what helps to scale.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what you were getting at with this question. So GRIN is definitely great for that. And then also I would say like dividing and conquering, you know, having certain team members to manage certain things. So for us, like when it comes to affiliate and GRIN and like TikTok Shop, we have like 2 team members on our team that like really are focused on that. That way other team members can be focused on other areas of the business. If it comes to an event, like I'm always going to pull Hollis in because that's where she really shines. So I would say outside of just the technology and the tools like GRIN, it's like spotting where the gifts are on your team and kind of dividing and conquering so that you can get all of the work done.
Yes, absolutely. I did most of my career in Google Sheets, so any
Love a Google
workflow,
Sheet.
any workflow enhancement
Yes.
is music to my ears.
Yes.
So now let's talk about performance, what success looks like, and how to prove impact. So for Yasmine, how does your team define success when it comes to influencer partnerships? Are there specific metrics that you prioritize over others?
Yeah, well, it really depends on the campaign and the program. So if we're talking about TikTok Shop, then it's like the GMV. If we're talking about you know, a brand new launch, we're going to be looking at impressions and the earned media value. So it really just depends on the campaign. And one thing that, you know, I've really tried to bring forth across my, you know, cross-functional partners is like, let's all hold hands and define what a good job looks like. Let's all hold hands and define what our measure of success is. So that way when we're building the campaign, when we're casting the campaign, we're looking for creators that can align with those measures of success, those KPIs. So I know if it's a new product launch, we're really going to go for impressions and how many people actually saw it. So I'm going to go for those macro creators, the big dogs. If it's, you know, more of a sales play, then I'm looking for like Becky Sue in Arkansas with their kids in the back that really drive those sales. And they're completely different creators that do different things, and they're both valuable, but it's like looking at the people over the pyramid, you know, so.
Nobody drives sales like Becky Sue.
Becky Sue in Arkansas is going
overtime.
to, you know, with her flip-flops on, okay? Like, she's going to drive those sales, so we need her.
Okay, Colette. I know that we're all dipping our toe into TikTok Shop, right? We're getting going. How are you approaching performance-based partnerships on that platform specifically right now?
We're literally figuring it out.
Yeah,
today.
that's like the common thread.
Because and this kind of speaks to the question that you just answered, our traditional metric for influencer is EMV. Like that, everything that I do is supposed to ladder up to EMV. But TikTok is like this really unique place where these creators are conversion based. And so Becky Sue in Arkansas drives no EMV, but she drives GMV. So it's this really interesting combination of splitting the program up. So you're looking at that GMV, like who's like a true affiliate and is just like making sales, who's driving both, who's someone that's more of like an audience person and like a salesperson in a charismatic way, but also drives GMV, and how can you marry that program? I don't always know the answer to that, and we're figuring it out constantly and assessing how do we bring those people into our influencer program. Should we? What does that look like? But we were just talking about this before. Those creators are totally different. They value different things. They want different things. So the answer is to be determined, but we assess very strategically.
Yes, love that. So let's do some lightning round. So get lively in here. So please answer in a sentence or less. The questions are for you both. We can start left to right. Yeah, with Yasmine. What platform is surprising you the most right now?
I would say the resurgence of YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is making a big comeback, so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
I'm gonna say TikTok Shop because every day a new creator pops up and I'm surprised.
The campaign you're most proud of this year?
Ooh, I would say our gloss campaign. We've been on like a big gloss moment. So we started with our Gloss Bomb Stick Shimmers in February, and then we went into like a really big Gloss Bomb Oil moment in March and April, and we just had our Gloss Bomb shop pop up, and Hollis was there on the grounds. That was super killer. So yeah, I'm proud of our whole gloss world that we've created. Yeah.
The gloss movement.
I would say the one we're running right now, it's our birthday month. So we just did a collab with Dialogue, which is an LA cafe, and we did a birthday smoothie. And it's been really fun to see that come to life. It was paired with our strawberry milk fresh kiss, and always with influencer campaigns, you don't necessarily expect conversion, but we did see Target sales go up, and so that just makes me really happy. And that was a labor of love across this team for sure.
Great job, guys. What is the most underrated influencer marketing tactic?
Relationships. Personal relationships. Yeah.
Put it in the book. That's it.
Literally same. I'm always telling my team, go get coffee with someone.
People are very disconnected now just because of phones. Like sometimes it gets lost, but it makes all the difference just to have that personal relationship built in. What is one thing you wish more marketers understood about creators?
That you have to be able to see it from their point of view too, what they get out of it. It's not just, oh, they should be lucky to have a deal with us, because who cares, you know? It really is thinking about what does this other person gain from this, and also that the creators are the experts of their platforms, and so you should always have an ear open to how you can infuse their own ideas and their own creative vision into your campaigns, and leaving room for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they know their audience best and they know what works for their content.
100%. Okay, so now I'm gonna open it up to the audience. You have the opportunity to, how are we gonna do this, Olivia? A raise hand? Yeah? Just raise your hand if you want. I just wanna open it up. If not, I'm gonna come and pick somebody randomly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna ask more questions myself. Does anybody have any questions for the panel? No?
How would you usually measure success when you do besides the actual insights, and what other metrics can you use to define success? If you would do one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like outside of just impressions and EMV, what the sentiment of their post was, what are the people saying in the comments? Are people loving it? Do they like how the content was shot? I would say sentiment would probably be like a tertiary, KPI that I would just organically look at and consider. Like, also, how was the person to work with? How was their manager to work with? Do we want to do that again? Was the juice worth the squeeze? On a personal level, I think those are all things to consider.
Yeah, I would say outside of just data, like qualitative insights, did it drive conversation? What are people in the comments saying? Like everything you're saying.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I know one of you mentioned how the community can be really vocal, essentially, and opinionated in the comments. So how would you handle something like when you're going through if things tend to be negative or there's certain like concerns in the comments?
I can speak to that. I think it depends on the level of negativity and what exactly they're saying. We do a lot of collabs, and people have a lot of opinions about how we did the collab, what colors are in the palette, who was featured and who wasn't. And a lot of times, like, it's not even up to us. That was just like a licensing decision. So usually we'll try to guide the content going into it to be more positive and like enlighten the customer on why we made certain decisions. But sometimes I think it's best to just leave it alone. I think a lot of people want to jump to defend themselves in the comments, and I think most of the time it's like, let's just take a step back, let the chatter be chatter, and you don't necessarily need to engage in it. If it's something that truly values a response and clarity, I think there's a time and place for it. But I think my main tactic is like, let it sit for a minute and decide if it's really worth stirring up a conversation.
Are you guys using discount codes or affiliate links in every campaign, or how do you usually approach that?
We have affiliate specific creators that we work with, because a little bit of a hot take, I don't think affiliate is really the main part of influencer marketing, because influencer marketing is upper funnel, and if you're trying to attach it to a conversion, it's not upper funnel anymore. Like, how many times do you watch someone buy something 10 times before you decide to buy it? But we do use affiliate. It just depends on who the creator is. Is it someone that posts about us every single day? Sure, we'll attach that. But we look at it more as a separate metric versus the success metric.
Yeah, for us, for our normal influencer campaign, to that same point, it's more upper funnel, so we're not attaching a discount code to it. However, there is a convergence between influencer and affiliate marketing that is happening now, and so we've tried to structure our team in a way to support that. And so even more so, we'll start to do a lot more of that, but it'll still be a separate bucket from when we're trying to like push our new launches and things like that.
You guys talked about like allowing creators like space to be themselves. How do you kind of balance the like feedback loop of when something is like maybe not quite on brand for you, but it fits for the creator? Kind of that back and forth.
This is so good. Okay, so one is a really good, strong brief. The brief is what gives them the playground and the sandbox within to play, right? And then also hiring creators that you're a fan of. So like, if I feel like this creator is amazing and so great, but maybe they don't fit what we see as the Fenty aesthetic, then maybe I'm not even trying to contract them. But I would say briefs is what keeps us both honest. It gives the creator the guidelines that we need to stay legally or in terms of like, you know, product-wise safe, but we're gonna let them, you know, have the freedom in order for it to be able to perform on their site. And I think if this is something that you guys are still working towards or figuring out what that right balance is, I always suggest, like, to my managers, having a call with the creator, getting on the phone, saying like, hey, like, this is kind of what we're going for. Like, what are your ideas? And that way you guys can sync and meet in the middle so that they're creating something that they're excited and comfortable with. And you know that you're gonna get content back that you can actually use and repurpose as you see fit.
Yeah, ColourPop is a little bit different than that. I would say, we always say that we're priced to play, and I think play is like the key point in that. So we don't do a lot of heavily briefed paid partnerships. It's not really our bread and butter unless we're trying to get people to go to Target, buy the specific collection, and we need to. Otherwise, we sort of just let them do their thing, because someone might turn themselves into Stitch, and that's great to showcase our blue eyeliners and our blue eyeshadows, and then someone else we might just let them do kind of that clean girl look, and both can exist with our brand. We have thousands of products, so I think showing diversity is totally fine with us.
We have time for one more. Go ahead.
I would love to know what your opinion is on paid usage and if you value this at all, like more importantly than organic usage or organic with and using through your membership.
I think paid usage is important, but I also think that generally the influencer teams aren't the ones that are selecting what goes on paid. So instead of paying for it up front, I always like to have it as an option. So already writing that into the agreement and having, you know, whatever the rate is agreed upon ahead of time and having that written in. So that way, if your paid media team, and I don't know how your company is structured, but for ours it's different. The paid media team says, hey, this asset is super amazing, we want to use it on paid. Great, okay, that'll be an incremental $1,500 and it can come out of your budget. So that's how I like to work it. Generally now, especially if someone has a manager, the paid usage can be a lot more expensive than just organic. So I like to have it as an optional. That's just a personal thing.
Yeah, I agree. We almost never contract it up front unless we all are going into it knowing we want to run paid behind the content. But usually it's added on later, and it's usually not up to me whether we are going to run it as a paid ad. I will say I think there's an opportunity if you're truly looking just at a data standpoint and wanting to drive like your impressions and your reach to collaborate with that team, because putting paid behind something will drive impressions and reach. So there's an opportunity to collaborate, but I would say usually it sits with different teams and it's kind of a cross-functional, does this hit your goals, does this hit my goals kind of thing.
And generally it's like separation between church and state.
Yeah.
Sometimes the content that does really well on paid will not do well on organic, or creators won't feel comfortable putting it on their pages, because if you let the paid team brief it, it'll be like a freaking commercial. It'll be like, hold the product to the left, tilt your head to the right, and then smile. And that's not really what we like to do. We are more storytellers, so it's really interesting.
I'm literally working on a brief right now where I'm basically briefing them because the paid team wants it, and we've been going back and forth. It's so different.
It's very different.
It's cross-functional collaboration.
Yes. You can't be like, this isn't the right way. This isn't how they work. But I appreciate you both so much for coming on and sharing all this amazing knowledge with our guests. So thank you all. Thank you for having me. Of course. Thank you so much.